I'm going to keep this straightforward because I know most of us are standing at the edge of a decision that feels bigger than it should. You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling through endless patio photos, wondering if the next set you buy will actually survive the sun, the rain, the occasional windblown umbrella, and still look decent when you're trying to enjoy a simple dinner outdoors. That hesitation is real, especially when you're trying to balance style, durability and price. I'm not going to throw hype at you, I'll just walk through what you'll actually get with the Purple Leaf 9-piece patio dining set, where it shines, where it falls short, and who should walk away with it in the cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the set is what you'd expect for a compact to medium-sized patio: a rectangular table with a teak-toned finish, 4 chairs with longer aluminum frames, and an additional 2 benches that slide under the table when you're not using them. The longer in the title isn't just marketing speak. The seat depth is about 1 inch or 2 deeper than many standard outdoor chairs, which makes a noticeable difference if you like to sit back with a glass of wine or a plate of appetizers. The aluminum frames are powder-coated, which means they are resistant to rust even after a few summer storms. The cushions are made from a weather-ready foam that's wrapped in a fabric that claims UV resistance. In my own experience with similar sets, that combination usually holds up for a season or 2 before you start seeing fading or flattening, so that's a realistic expectation here. Now, let's talk about assembly. The box contains all the hardware you need, and the instructions are laid out with clear diagrams, no cryptic symbols or missing screws. Most people I've spoken to say they can get the whole thing together in about 45 minutes if they have a partner to hold the table while the legs are bolted in. The biggest gotcha is the weight of the tabletop. It's heavy enough that you'll want to set it on the ground first before trying to lift it onto the frame. That's not a deal breaker, but it's worth noting if you're planning a solo assembly. From a usability standpoint, the set really shines when you're hosting small gatherings. The benches slide neatly under the table, so you can keep the patio looking tidy when you're not using them, and you can pull them out for a family of 6 without needing extra chairs. The cushions stay in place thanks to a subtle groove in the seat frame that catches the bottom edge, so they don't slide around when you shift. I tried setting a pot of simmering stew on the table and the surface held steady. There's no wobble even when you push against the edges, which is something you often notice with cheaper aluminum sets that rely on thin brackets. On the flip side, there are a few trade-offs that become apparent after a couple of weeks of use. The teak finish is actually a veneer over the aluminum, not solid wood, so while it gives the set a warm, natural look, it can chip if you bump it against a metal grill or a concrete planter. Once the veneer chips, you'll see a bit of the underlying metal, which changes the aesthetic. Also, the cushions, while soft, are not as thick as premium wicker-style sets. If you have chronic back issues and rely on deep padding, you might find the 2-inch foam a little firm after a few hours of sitting. The cushions are removable for cleaning, but the fabric does tend to attract dust in windy conditions, so you'll need to give them a quick shake or brush down before each use if you want them to stay looking fresh. One practical question I hear a lot is whether a set like this can survive harsh climates. The powder-coated aluminum does an excellent job repelling rust, which is why you'll often see this kind of frame in coastal areas. However, the fabric on the cushions is rated for UV resistance, but not for extreme heat. In a scorching desert summer, the cushions can become a bit sticky after a few hours of direct sun, so I'd recommend investing in a simple patio umbrella or a shade sail if you live somewhere with relentless sun. That extra piece isn't included, but it's a modest addition that dramatically improves comfort. Who should walk away with this set? If you have a patio, balcony, or small backyard where you want a clean, modern look without committing to a full-size dining set, this is a solid match. The design is deliberately simple, no ornate scrollwork or over-the-top detailing, so it blends well with both contemporary and more traditional outdoor decor. It's especially appealing for renters or homeowners who may want to move the furniture seasonally, because the pieces are relatively lightweight for their size and the benches can be tucked away easily. It's also a good fit for families who dine outdoors.